looking forward to having you because anybody who is a MsMedia guest or fan knows that she was one of the first live interviews I did when Mondays with MsMedia was just going live from social media. And I don't know why you decided to give me that opportunity, but I graciously thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
How much do you weigh, girl?
Right now I'm about 140 something. Yeah.
You weigh $140 and you're 2 people. Congratulations to you. You're having a girl, right?
I am.
Our studio got you just a little bit, just something small, super small. You cannot have enough of these. And you don't have to open it on air. It's just some cute little booties and onesies. You cannot have enough onesies. You can bring them over to her. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is so cute.
So this is for baby Tara 20. Do we call it?
That's funny. That's really funny.
Baby Tara 20. I actually was looking for little letters that I could have put on there.
Her name is actually Zentru. We just announced her name actually the other day.
How do you spell that?
ZN-True. So her name was going to be True off of a play of my name.
Okay.
The Model of Truth. He thought that was cute. And then my 2 children's names start with a Z. Okay. So we kept the Z's going. We was like, we have to keep the Z's going. Everybody in my family was like, we have to keep them going.
Okay. So how many kids do you have?
I have 3. This would be my 3rd.
I did not know that. So do you have a little sister?
I actually do. I have a on my birth father's side.
Is that the one that has the exact same face as you?
She's light skinned.
No, there is a little girl that I've seen in your stories, and I'm like,
oh, that's my daughter.
That is your entire. She's so beautiful.
That's
if she's looking for any free photo shoots, like send her my way.
Oh, she would be too aesthetic.
Yes, I'm actually looking to build my portfolio, and I want to start with kids. So we'll connect on that. Yes. I thought that was like your little sister.
No,
because
that's my little baby.
You look.
She's not
so
a baby
young.
anymore.
How old is she?
She's 11. You can do the math.
Girl, bye. So listen, I've reserved time to gush over baby 20 Tara later in the show. When did you first start modeling?
I officially started when I was probably around 16, 17. Okay. My mother had put me in an agency. That didn't last too long because I actually ended up getting pregnant. Okay. I went to America's Next Top Model and auditioned in Chicago.
We're going to talk about America's Next Top Model later on. Go ahead.
I made the show.
You made the show?
I did.
Girl,
but
what?
I came back and found out that I was pregnant.
Your ego was prego, right. So were you not able to do the show if you were pregnant? Was that a stipulation?
Well, let's see, because they don't actually tape it back to back to back. So the auditions were in February, March time. Okay. They weren't taping until August.
Oh, okay.
So when I came back and found out I was pregnant, by the time they would have been taping, I was 5-6 months pregnant.
I mean, you know, if you're watching,
I thought I was going to be small with her, but I was huge.
They should actually they should open that up, I think, to pregnant women.
I think
I can't imagine. I mean, there's pregnant models and you have to model maternity clothes. Why is there not a space for that? But we'll get into her later. I got some specific feelings about her. So you started modeling when you were 16. Your mom got you involved in modeling. What was it about modeling that made your mom say this would be a good fit for you? Was it because you're stunning? She was like, my daughter, everybody should see my daughter.
People always say like, oh, she's so pretty, she's so pretty. But I will say my mother is actually, she's not someone that was always like, my daughter's so beautiful. My daughter, like, she never was like that.
Really?
So I didn't even grow up like that. I was a tomboy. Like, I wore baggy pants, t-shirts, sneakers all the time.
You were more humble.
Yeah. And I have all brothers, so it wasn't ever really a time to be prissy. Yeah.
When did you move into the prissy world?
I don't think I ever actually did.
You do still have kind of like a tomboy swag.
If you catch me on an off day, unless I'm doing like a shoot or something, no.
I mean, you even worked some really dope flat boots into this fit, and I would not have felt confident enough. I'll say that. I do not feel confident in flats. It's not my calling.
I love boots. I love sneaks.
Yeah.
It's kind of my thing.
What's the last pair of J's you bought?
God, actually, I never bought a pair of J's.
All my brothers,
all my brothers bought. Yeah, my brothers always bought my J's.
So they buy them for as long as you got them on your feet. I thought you was coming up here saying you didn't.
Now my boyfriend He'll buy them, so.
Okay. All right. So as long as his feet the same place. So if I wanted to buy baby Tara 20 a really dope gift, I could buy her a pair of baby J's.
You could. Okay. My brother, he actually works at Nike. He made her these really super dope custom Nikes. Like,
so never mind, because if he's making the shoes, like I'm not gonna go and get some stuff off the
no.
rack.
Do what you do, because she's gonna need all she needs. But but yeah, I just never seen them before. I thought they were.
So when do you get them? Oh, you've already gotten them?
Yeah, I got them for Christmas.
That's
cool.
She
got them for Christmas.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool. Okay, so which family member was most supportive? Can we assume it was your mom? Which family member was like, this is what you should be doing?
Interesting.
Is there tea behind that question?
A little bit. It's a little, I don't know if it's tea, more feelings.
Is it green tea? Because it don't have to necessarily be like straight on peach tea.
It's green tea. Unsweet tea.
Unsweet we'll take. We'll take unsweet.
My mother, I quit modeling when I had my daughter.
Okay.
I made the choice. So I didn't model for almost 10 years. Okay. I came back and it was my mom who actually brought me back. Okay. And she did it. She kind of forced me into it. There was a woman at her church that had a clothing company that she was starting. Mm-hmm. And she was like, she wants models and she needs models. And I told you to be perfect. I was like, I'm not doing that. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like super mom. Yeah. Like, so.
How old were you at that point?
Golly, I was well into my 20s.
Okay. Which in model world, start now. Yeah. Like if you're into your 20s in model world, you've already started aging. So that's why your mom was probably, yeah.
You're ancient. A lot of people, thank goodness, don't even know how old I really am. But
I don't think you have to tell them, because again, I thought that the 11-year-old was your sister. You could really like rock. I'm 28 for a good minute if you wanted to.
Yeah. Most girls I've actually collabed with are like literally 16, 17-year-olds. And you cannot tell.
I don't see the difference. No, especially if you go fresh face.
Yeah,
right?
Fresh face, I'm really like,
it's over with.
A little kid. Yeah. I'll grow up one day. One day.
Wait till you get old. Wait till the wrinkles start settling.
My mom and my brother, they're my most supportive.
So you said you have a few siblings. Which brother?
Elliot Drake. He's actually a photographer. Yes, shout out Drake Frames Visuals. He's a photographer. So me and him growing up, we weren't besties, but that is my best friend. Like,
now.
Yeah. Like,
is he local?
He's actually in Greensboro.
Okay.
So yeah,
okay.
Kind of.
We can pull up.
Yeah, always.
So what we're going to do is we're going to turn to the audience. We actually, and thank you guys so much here in Charlotte, North Carolina, in the Queen City, for grabbing your tickets to come see Tara Nichole. But we decided last minute that because she is pregnant, and we're still navigating COVID, we did not want a bunch of people breathing all in her face. So we're going to turn to the audience and have that first question read. Let's get the first question, please.
Due to COVID, what is a typical day like for you as a model?
When COVID first hit, it was culture shock. Yeah. There were no shoots. There were no runway shows. There still are very few runway shows. New York Fashion Week was canceled. Yeah. I was supposed to be over in London Fashion Week. There were no United States models over there allowed to even come in.
So I know we put out tickets, and I appreciate everybody here in the Charlotte, North Carolina, here in the Queen City 704, grabbing their tickets to come see Tara Nichole and ask their questions in person. But she's pregnant, and we did not want you breathing all in her face and her baby's face and while we continue to navigate COVID. So we're going to turn to the audience and have our questions read from the audience here. Thank you, Shanika. What's the first question?
Due to COVID, what is a typical day like for you as a model?
It was very much culture shock in the beginning. Everything stopped completely, like most things. But shows stopped, photo shoots stopped. There was nothing that you could really do. Yeah. So you had to really get creative. And actually it was one industry that you had to wait out. You really had
to wait out.
Which one, girl? Just in the sense of like, a lot of people were nervous about being in close encounters. I don't know if anybody's been on set, but when you're on set, it's not just you, it's the camera crew, it's the makeup artist, it's the hairstylist, it's the stylist.
Did you see the rant that Tom Cruise did recently?
No.
There was Tom Cruise, this was probably in the past 3 weeks. He was shooting some movie and He saw people on his set that were not following COVID. I mean, they didn't have on masks, and he went in his old bag of Tom Cruise tricks and went in. He went ham.
Wow.
He went off. There were a couple people, I think, that quit the production. They were so offended by his stance against it. But you're right.
It's a serious matter, though. I've personally known quite a few people that have actually ended up with COVID. So it's not even like a figment of our imagination or a conspiracy. I know it's real. And in those kind of close corners, you kind of do have to take extra precautions.
You do.
So when it became a lot safer, I did start shooting, though, consistently.
Yeah.
So,
Second question.
Have you ever fallen on a runway?
no, I haven't. Hallelujah. I've tripped. I've tripped, and you never knew it.
Nobody saw it.
No one
You
saw
just tripped,
it.
and in your head, you was like, keep it moving.
Yeah, I was wearing a garment, and it got caught under my heel as I was walking, and I was like, "Ooh!"
How'd you get out of it? Did you kick it?
Yeah, I think I kind of back kicked it a little bit, but not too much so that it looked like a little donkey kick. But
okay, yeah, I can
just
see
a
that.
little cute little something to get it off, and
How
it's
tall
on
are
tape.
you?
I'm actually only 5'4".
That's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
No, come on. I'm 5'3".
Yeah.
Don't put me in a position to make both of us. I will have you come all about your boot, all on this set, and we will go flat footed. There's no possible
I'm
way.
5'4".
Now I know how to model and like make myself look taller because people think I'm taller than I am. I'm like, no, I've been lying for years.
People think I'm way taller.
All
than I
about the
am.
way you shoot. That's what you're doing?
Yeah.
You've been lying to me for these past 2 years that I've been fanning yours?
Angle out, arms out,
Girl,
legs.
I'm impressed though. Like I thought you were at least like 5'8", 5'9", and aren't models supposed to lie the same way basketball players do?
Yeah, sure are. That's why,
You're supposed to say she's 5'11", guys. I know she just like told the truth and said she was 5'4", but she's 5'11".
You're supposed to lie about your height, your weight, your age.
You're only a size 0. Yeah. You're only a size 0. Listen, when we come back, we are going to talk to Tara Nichole about the less than beautiful side of modeling when we return.
MsMedia, brought to you by Bandwagon Radio and the On Channel, where entertainment news, current events, and much more is corresponded for the masses. Not only can you hear her, you can watch this beauty weekly on Mondays with MsMedia.
Tara, do you have insecurities?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do.
I honestly, when I wrote the question, assumed you would say no. What are your insecurities?
Like any woman, body insecurities, performance insecurities, model world, really can pinpoint on your insecurities at times.
I could see that. I could see that. So you work with beautiful people for a living. Do you see some truth to the statement that the prettier the person, the more insecure the personality?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. In what way?
I guess it varies. I've also seen very beautiful women with very nasty attitudes, which I feel like is an insecurity somewhere deeper.
Yeah, I
than
agree.
just being a physical. But yeah, I've definitely run into that. A lot of times in model world, you kind of don't see it because it's this whole facade that we all put on and airs. And when you see real down to earth people, it's like, oh, you're a real person.
Yeah.
You know, and
you just said something. How do you balance the airs that you have to put on, right? Because in entertainment, you kind of gotta, it's part of the job to sell the image, to sell the lifestyle, to sell the look. So how do you go from I'm that bitch to I'm just an everyday bitch? Yeah.
Me, myself, personally, I walk into every room the exact same way. I pride myself on that. I make sure of it. And I think it comes just from my upbringing within itself. Because like I said earlier, my mother never really pinpoint like, oh, she's so beautiful. I was very, very shy as a little girl. You know, people would always come up to me like, oh, she's so beautiful. She's so beautiful. So that, for myself, became an insecurity.
Really?
Being told that all the time. As I became an adult, I realized that I was like,
you start to step into it more.
You not even step into it. It kind of feels like you're always being watched.
That's so fair.
And it's kind of
fair.
uncomfortable because I mean, I'm even pregnant right now, and people are still like, oh my gosh, and you're just like, thank you. But it's I don't know. That's a weird feeling. I can't really describe it. It's just a weird feeling sometimes. Like,
my dad said that Halle Berry's gift is her beauty, and like, well, if she was to walk into a room, right?
Yes.
So you're probably, I would imagine what you're saying is probably what Halle Berry goes through. Like, you're so gorgeous that you've been daunted with beauty.
My beauty was a curse and a blessing.
Yeah.
And
I could see my dad growing up, he used to make me say, when people would compliment me, what an annoying kid I must have been. Gosh. But it's all because I had this annoying dad. Great intentions. Let me tell you what Dad Dukes had me say. Somebody would compliment me, I'd have to say, thank you for calling me pretty, but pretty is in my heart. You couldn't compliment my hair bow, my shoes, like, and if he heard me get a compliment and not say it, like, I felt the nudge.
You're supposed to be saying.
Thank you for calling me pretty, but pretty is in my heart. But he did that so that I would be, mindful of who I was as a person. First. And I actually don't think I even got pretty till about 8 years ago, like, truthfully. Like, my version of pretty, I didn't feel comfortable to actually think that I was a pretty person until about 8 years ago, because I was more concerned with trying to make sure that this was hitting on something.
Yeah. That's me. I care more about how people perceive me as a person versus what I look like. Like, even when I'm dating, like, if you're with me because of how I look, I'm already turned off.
Yeah.
Like, because that's not who I am. Beauty can fade. Anything could happen. I want to know that you're with me for me.
For you, yeah. You led me to my next question. So, shout out to the genius that you are co-partnering with in your life right now. In that relationship, have you ever done a shoot where he was like, that's a little too provocative. Let's reset.
Like, all of them? Nah.
What? Now, he's shot you before, right?
Yes, he has. He's actually shot my most provocative photos, actually. Yeah.
That's kind of sexy. Is that how you made the baby? He shot you and then he went?
Oh, my God.
No. Okay, let's move to the next question. What body conscious negative trends do you think the modeling world is starting to get away from? Because the Good American brand, shout out to Khloe Kardashian. I love everything about the way she promotes the Good American brand. I also think her sister does it pretty well with Skims, I believe. Outside of them intentionally doing that, because they are breaking into the fashion world, right? They're not status quo fashion. In the legitimate fashion world, what trends are you seeing kind of moving out?
Body. You see so many different shapes. Yeah. You see so many, it's not even shapes, colors.
Yeah.
I think that the model industry was missing color, just in general. And that's not even just black girls.
That's not just black girls.
That's Asian girls. Yep. That's Indian girls. Red dot, not feather. All races of people. Yeah. Beauty is within all races, and it just was very much so. Like, if you're 5'10", blonde hair, blue eyed, you were the standard. And granted, it still has its very much so standards in there. Once you're in there and kind of up there. But I think body image, overall, and in skin, I feel like that's really changing a lot.
I think Winnie Harlow, welcome to the industry. I know Winnie Harlow has really helped to make waves in that space.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Rihanna with Fenty.
Oh my gosh.
Her runway shows were groundbreaking for the model industry.
Yeah.
She had any and everybody on her runway show, and that was groundbreaking because no one's seen that before.
There's a lot of high-end designers, and I think what I hear you saying is when you're in high fashion, you're still going to have to come up against some of those old school mod, twiggy kind of
New York Fashion Weeks, those London Paris Fashion Weeks. Yeah, you're gonna, as a black model, you're gonna feel away.
Yeah,
one of them days you're gonna feel away.
I could see that.
I personally have opted out of doing New York Fashion Week. I think.
How many times have you done New York Fashion Week?
3.
I ain't done it no time. Girl, I ain't even had a ticket to be sitting there to watch you walk across the stage.
That is so watch the shows now.
That is so dope. Yeah. So you don't feel like you do anymore?
I mean, I might. I think I'll be more selective of what I do. I've I don't like the way I feel. I don't like the way I feel when I'm done with them.
Do you mind expounding?
It's the little racial issues that you have in there.
Mm-hmm.
Being a model of color,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you'll go into set and it's time to get makeup done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't have your color. So
that's
now
being done on purpose. Like, cut the shit. That's being done on purpose. They've had makeup for us. I've been wearing makeup. So if I've been wearing makeup, why don't makeup artists have makeup for me?
Because they're not trained. That's just a simple answer. They're just not trained. I've done, you know, shows, well, not even shows, like makeup classes, and been like a model or something for somebody. And the woman was from London, and she actually, I was chosen to come by another makeup artist. But when we got in there, she switched everybody.
Okay.
She made this white girl do my makeup. She had never done a girl of color's makeup, and she said it. She was like, I don't even have a palette. Like, I don't even have the colors to even do her makeup.
Did they not know who the models were ahead of time? Because my makeup artist...
Well, I was supposed to be with another model, and she brought her own model.
Got you.
So they were in their comfort zones. So what she did is she put them out of their comfort zones.
Got you.
And she made them have to...
What was the last year that you did New York Fashion Week?
Last February.
So as recently as 2020,
Yep.
you still felt like there were some...
2020, I felt like the worst. I didn't even take pictures because my makeup was just so horrible. And the show itself was nice. The designers, great. I walked for some wonderful people.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't even do none of the black girls' hair. None of our hair was done. They said that they didn't. It was fine. They didn't feel like they had enough time.
But hair and makeup is part of the look.
Yeah. Yes, we know.
That just feels intentional. It feels intentional. When we come back, we're going to get MsMedia's opinion and hopefully Tara Nichole's on America's Next Top Model. When we come back.
MsMedia, brought to you by Bandwagon Radio and the On Channel, where entertainment news, current events, and much more is corresponded for the masses. Not only can you hear her, you can watch this beauty weekly on Mondays with MsMedia.
So I have not bitten my tongue over the years with this. I actually used to watch America's Next Top Model when it first came out, okay?
Me too.
And I am going to do my rendition
I'm weak.
of what used to happen, okay? I hold in my hands 2 envelopes. Casey, you're beautiful, but you lack inner confidence. Melissa, you aren't so beautiful, but you're very outgoing, and we believe that the clients will love you. So which girl stays? The beautiful one or the ugly one? We don't think you're so ugly. Come on, let's go. I hated everything about the way she made her selection. The way she made her selection process. I saw something on the internet a couple days ago, not even a full week ago, and they were still going in on her. And apparently she's offered some sort of apology in regards to...
She's offered a lot of apologies over the years.
I don't know that you could apologize for that. You know, when I look at how she, you know, those girls were falling off runways and, you know, all these kind of extra stunts they were doing to prove what specifically. And I still, where are these women? Other than Eva Marcel, where are the women? I've seen Yaya in a couple little B-list productions. Sorry. I've seen Takara on what? BET Productions. Sorry. The only person that I really believe has a true legitimate career that is comparable to the type of abuse that they put up with to be on that show would be Eva Marcel. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I can see that. But I personally have my own...
I want to know your experience because you were there, right?
Yeah.
Take us back.
There, so.
How were you when you first got the letter? How did they tell you that you've been accepted? Is it a
they told me in person. They tell you in person.
Oh, so you went there on site?
Yeah, I flew overnight.
Talk us through it.
Yeah, Some lady told my mother about the auditions for America's Next Top. This is with a 5'7".
Is your mom your manager? Because she should be.
She should have been. Right?
She should have been your manager. Yeah.
I tell her all the time. You ready to quit your business and be my mama?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I want her to be. I'm waiting on her.
I'm trying to get my money right to hire my mom.
I want her so bad. But she's the only person I trust. But we went. We flew out to Chicago. Mm-hmm. There's a stack of paper though, because I was actually doing nursing, so I was
could see you being a nurse.
So I was actually in a class, and I had a stack this thick for America's Next Top Model, the show, and they ask everything from. They ask so many deep personal questions.
Yeah, like, so they know how to rip you apart once you come on there.
It was really strange for me at that time. I was like, why are they asking me all this?
Yeah.
But I got there, and I sat outside. I got dropped off at 3, 4 in the morning, and pretty much just sat there till they opened the doors at like 6, 7 in the morning, and it was thousands of girls there. Like, it was insane.
Was it exciting?
It was very much exciting. It was very intimidating too.
I can see that, yeah.
Because you're just literally sitting in rooms with just like thousands of beautiful women. You're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you start out in ballroom form, and then the rooms just get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as the day goes on. I don't think I left there till about 5, 6 o'clock that evening.
Wow.
That's how long the audition process was, and you're literally going through different auditions. The first room they put you in is like probably a room maybe this size, maybe a little bit bigger, and they lined you up like cattle. You were like this close, and they literally just picked you. Like, you didn't do anything. They just were looking at you. They just picked you. Like, yeah, we want you, want you, want you, want you. Step forward. Y'all are moving on to the next room. The girls that were still left in the other room had to go home. Like, and they just kept doing that. So you never really knew which category you were in.
Which room did you get to actually communicate in, where you felt like you were selected based off of a communication?
When it was time to change into our bathing suits.
Okay.
But we waited the longest in that, too. I think we waited about an hour or 2.
Okay.
Just sitting there in bikinis with like 4 security guards in there. It was really weird.
Yeah. What kind of questions did they ask you when you came forward in your bathing suit?
They asked you to walk.
Okay.
Do like a few different turns, and then they asked you, like, they had an interview process, and what did they ask me? I don't even remember what they asked me, to be quite frank. But it was just like some random questions, stuff about yourself, stuff like that. And then you answered them. And in Chicago, the cast was actually there.
Wow.
So when I went to the next room...
Now, you were there with who? Was it Mr. J or Miss J?
I was there with all of them that year, yeah. So all of them were there, so I was like...
Okay. Nigel, too?
Yeah, they were all there. I was like really just like beside myself.
Okay.
But you don't see them until you make it to a certain point.
Yeah, I could see that, yeah.
So they were the last people I saw before I went into another room. They told you to stand against the wall and take a picture. And then they gave me this this band that looked like it was like
a club joint?
Yeah.
VIP joint?
And it was like in the pattern of a cow. I remember that. And they were like, here, take this. You'll be, you've made it onto the show. They don't make a big deal about it. They're just like, you've made it onto the show. We've accepted you, da 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 da. So you're just like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then I was like I'm for real on the show.
What season was that for?
I believe that was either between 12 or 14.
Okay.
That was 5'7" and under.
Okay.
So yeah, that was when that big doughy-eyed girl won. Blonde hair. Yeah.
I stopped.
She was really strange looking, but she took some great pictures.
I stopped a few years after Eva. I probably stopped around, what year was Yaya? I maybe stopped a few years after
There's
Yaya.
Like 20-something seasons. 20.
I got sick of watching women get beat up on television by a woman, and by a woman of color, by a woman of color with a big forehead. You've got your own things that you probably wouldn't want people to say about you.
The bad stigma that she gets, though, is a harsh reality, though, also into the model world, because if it's not her telling you, it's gonna be somebody else.
Here's what I would have liked, because there's a way to say things, right? She could have done what you just did. She could have said, here's what you could potentially hear as feedback from a client, and then she come in as the nurturer that we all thought she was intending to be to these girls on the show, and give you that nurturing response there. Again, I get it that in the model world, it's about that, right?
Yeah,
in fact, in entertainment period, but more specifically in the model world. I understand that. But again,
it's like Heidi says, one day you're in and the next day you're out.
I just thought that she was a bully. And if I ever got an opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with her, I would tell her that I thought you kind of bullied those girls. You didn't bully me like that. Let's go to the audience. Let's grab some questions.
What are your goals as a model?
Oh, wow. I have so many. I'm actually working on a few right now. I've done quite a bit in my modeling career. I've been back 3.5 years.
From where?
From being a mom. Just from being a mom. Just being an everyday normal person.
Yeah.
Went to nursing school. Went to college for psychology. Just being a normal person. And I got back into modeling, and then I just kind of hit the ground running. I channeled all my energy into it. And now I just, because of COVID, I just started my True Development, which is a company that I came up with that actually helps models, not just with walking or taking photos and stuff like that, but actually learning the business behind it, because that's something that I actually had to learn the hard way. And the model world is such a scammer type industry. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't know like the ins and outs of even your rights and stuff like that. And I just feel like that's very important to know what you can and cannot do. Know that there's compensation to be done for everything that you do. So, you know, I think that's important. And I'm also starting a boutique with my brother. So yeah, there's like a lot of scams that happen in the model world. So I just try to make sure that women, girls, men, that they know like what their rights are, and know that it's possible to actually make this into a career and not just a hobby.
Interesting. I think that I know that you're focused towards models, but I think that people in the entertainment world could really benefit from coming and getting that service from you, me included.
That's why I do actually say models and artists. Because especially in today's world, it kind of all goes hand in hand. Artists a lot of times need development. They need imaging and stuff like that. With True Development, though, I kind of wanted to make it a hub. So it kind of works as a whole, but it takes everybody. So when you come into True Development, you're not just paying for the information. You're actually paying for connects. Things that you already wouldn't be able to, you can still get it on your own, but I've kind of talked to a lot of people. I'm pretty
You've already done the legwork.
So it's kind of like, hey, you know, this is what you need to do to get started. So young ladies that need to get started, I'll tell them like, hey, I'll reach out to a few photographers. These are your people. This is what you need to do. These are the photos that you need to be getting done. First and foremost, if you're wanting to go the agency route, I'll tell you which agencies I feel like would be the best for you. The ones that aren't going to put you on a shelf and just have you sitting there.
And this is
like
all
that.
Part of your consultation.
And this is like, I've been talking to makeup artists, hairstylists, stylists. I've been talking to them for the past like 2 to 3 years. I've been working on this for a couple of years now.
I think that I definitely would like to have a conversation with you. My executive assistant and I, her daughter is about to start modeling, and we want to do it right. You know, I know how to do some pieces of it right, but we want to make sure that she's got the business piece of it figured out right away. So we'll make sure that we connect offline.
Business and mental, I feel like, are very strong points for young people in the industry.
Say that again. Business
and your mental. Because it takes a lot to be told some of the things that about yourself. It takes a lot of mental strength to not let it affect you in the long run. So
I see comments every single week underneath my pictures and posts, stuff that I have to delete.
There's a lot of beautiful people out here with very, very low self-esteem. So
I've been one of them.
Me too.
Yep. When we come back, we're going to get into the belly of Tara Nichole when we return.
If I never have another night to live, if I never have another breath to give, if I never get to see another day, I can't allow this moment to get away. I've made a lot of tough decisions. Good intentions guided all my years, most of which left me broken. I closed my eyes to hold in the tears. As I walk the remainder of my journey, I know it's best that you're told. I've always wanted you, to love you, to see where it all goes. I might be late in my admission, but I hope my submission is clear. I'm sorry it took me so long to get past my hurt, my thoughts, my fear. Please excuse my selfishness. I apologize for my words of disruption. I know this may be a bit to take in, but I beg you pardon the interruption. You're the one that I wanted to learn. You're the one that I wanted to adore. You're the one that I wanted to admire. You're the one that I wanted to support. I wanted to be the comfort amidst the cries. I wanted to be the relax at stressful times. I wanted to be the peace that peaces your heart. Anything you need for us to not be apart. Your intelligence, your beauty, your beliefs, your time. Your everything is amazing, and I just wish it was mine.
Let's turn to the audience and grab those last 3 audience questions.
Have there ever been cat fights during New York Fashion Week among the models?
I haven't personally seen the cat fights,
but you've heard about it.
I've definitely heard about some cat fights going on, and even between like the makeup artists, and hairstylists, and designers, they get. I mean, New York Fashion Week is like this. First of all,
yeah,
you can barely breathe, so it's a lot of high tension. It's a lot of emotions
already. Yeah,
models are. People don't know this, but notoriously the models don't show up. They're not on time.
Really?
Yes. So.
So how are you compensated for New York Fashion Week? Are you paid before or after you get there?
It depends. 2 New York Fashion Weeks, I haven't been paid at all. It's actually very hard to be paid in Runway. Period. Yeah.
So really, they feel like you being on the runway was the pay.
The promotion, yeah. Which in some cases
depends on how big the designer, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is. I've had a lot of opportunities come out of mine because any room I go into, I'm networking.
Talk that talk.
So I am getting in there. I'm talking to you. I don't even care if I'm not walking for you. Hey, how are you doing? My name's Tara Nichole. Here's my business card. This is where I'm at. So
now, when you do those shows, they still do your makeup and your hair. They just may not pay you.
Yeah,
girl, I'm pulling up.
Everything is there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get to keep the clothes. Sometimes you don't. They say you're not a model until you keep the clothes, but
that's true.
So yeah. Sometimes it has its own benefits within itself. Yeah. I networked myself all the way to Italy, so I was like, yeah, I'm going in this room and I'm talking.
Do you speak any Italian?
No, I don't.
That's
I really don't.
That's okay.
But I learned some words when I was over there.
What's money in Italian? Dinero? No, that's Spanish.
I mean, that's Spanish.
Let me keep moving. Let's get the second question from the audience.
How can kids start modeling?
How can kids start modeling? I personally, for myself, feel like as a parent, you should definitely be hands-on starting modeling with your child because you need to be in the vicinity. A lot of times your child will be modeling with grown adults, with grown brands, and, they'll try to keep you out. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
I want to be in the room. I want to be a part of the situation. I want to make sure that my child is actually being compensated for their situation because, yes, they can. And then I also feel like children should also really start at the agency. But once again, just making sure that that agency is a good fit. Agencies and management and stuff like that, it's like a marriage. So you kind of want to watch where you're going. And then also watch the agency within itself. Do they actually have a lot of children on their roster? Do they cater to them more? Because there are some agencies that actually cater more to children.
Yeah.
Because I did like little JCPenney ads and Dillard's and stuff like that.
When you were a kid? Girl, your resume is long. And you sat down with MsMedia. What's our last question from the audience?
What advice do you have for new models?
Good question.
Be confident. No matter where you're starting from, no matter the knowledge that you don't have or do have, be confident. When you walk into a room, be confident, open your mouth, speak. That's gonna, networking by word of mouth is still the best that you could ever, money can't buy that.
Right.
Personality, have a good personality. Nobody wants to be on set for 13, 14, even an hour with you if you have a nasty attitude.
You're a mean girl, yeah.
Nobody wants that. Don't be a stereotypical model, you know, whatever you think modeling is. Yeah. Modeling is who you are. So you are your brand. Remember that, portray that, exude that at all times.
Great answer. Great questions. Thank you guys for emailing those.
Yes, thank you.
Great answer. My last question for you, more of a statement maybe. I think that you are, first of all, I am just so excited to say I sat down with you because I know that these aren't the biggest accolades that you're going to have. This really kind of is a tip of the iceberg for you. I look at a lot of your print work and I'm like, this is art. This is like, I could put this on my wall. It might be creepy since I know her, but I could put this on my wall in my home, like, and I could tell someone this is Basquiat. Like, this is really, it's really dope. Do you ever have any artistic design in the ideas, or you just show up and just?
No, I am hands-on with everything that I do.
Are you serious?
Majority of the shoots that I've actually done, if they're not like branded, I picked them out. The concept is me. I go and find like
the black and white joint where you're sitting up on
the stairs,
where you're like in the joint. And it's a bunch of black and white squares, and you've got that white wig on. Mm-hmm. Who did that?
So that was Todd. He's actually a photographer here in Charlotte.
He's local.
Yeah, and his studio is. Oh my God!
I got a link with him. He built a studio.
He builds all his sets. He tears those down. So like that set probably doesn't even exist anymore. He tears them down. He builds up new ones. Tears those down. Builds up new ones like consistently. Like he's amazing. He does them by hand. But he's amazing.
Executive assistant for MsMedia. Make sure that we look into photographers next week who can do that.
And then who else was with that?
Very impressive.
That was with.
Do you work with him regularly?
That was actually my first time working with him. Yeah, it was a great shoot. It was a very, very long shoot, but it was great. I worked with a boutique, hairstylist, and everything. The whole entire day, like they had it all set up for me, with another model.
Okay.
And so yeah, that was. I love that shoot.
Yeah, how could you not? That's one of my favorite shoots of yours.
Yeah, and then he had like the little Pac-Man and all that. That wasn't even a part of my shoot. I just got over there and started.
Just liked it.
I just liked it.
That and anything you do fresh face. Because when you're fresh faced, I'm like, she's really pretty. Like, really, like you say it every time you see it. I thought that was the last question. This is the last one. Who's your favorite producer?
My favorite producer has to be my boo.
Boom, blah, blah, blah.
I got 20 on my beat.
I got 20 on my beat. Thank you so much for coming on to Mondays with MsMedia. You are welcome back anytime. Also, I know that you've got True Development under works and it is going to the next level. Whenever you've got the next phase going, let me know. I'll bump somebody to get you on the show, okay?
Oh, yes.
I'll bump the mugs right off.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for everybody. I appreciate it. And the questions. Those were fun.
Great questions, audience. Thank you for tuning in with me today. Celeste Mose, MsMedia. Make sure you come back next week where we interview the multi-talented Real Trey Love. Until next week, let me leave you with this. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman whose heart is pure will be praised. Proverbs 31, MsMedia.